Hey everyone, welcome to another episode of Bogey Proof. We got 3 out of the 4 Bogey Proof staff here today, Matt, Joey, and Mike. Excited to talk a little bit more about 2021 and all the great things that are to come. Joseph, what are you sipping on here tonight?
Boys, we got a little bit. It's a Funky Buddha, which is a brewery down here in Florida over on the East Coast, but we got one of their hard seltzers, blood orange flavored. Quite delicious, actually. Fontaine. What about you?
Well, you missed last week, but dry January for me this year. We're going to cleanse the body. Got my Baker Hill water bottle here. Shout out. There you
Good
go.
man.
And
I
yeah,
respect
lots
cleanse.
of
What's the
lots of
reason
water
for
these
it?
days. We're almost too hydrated to the point where it's like getting annoying to pee every 10 minutes. But a lot of water. It's good for the body. So
Good for
we'll
you.
see.
What was
Thank you.
the decision for the hydrate or for the water cleanse?
Dude, just the holidays with all the food and drinking along with it. I just felt so gross come New Year's. I was like, fuck, like there's nothing else to do, right? Like fuck
Yeah.
it. You can't go out to bars and stuff like that. It's
No, exactly.
just sit at home and give the body a break for a month.
Understandably so. I can't
Yeah.
say I blame you.
And it'll probably help me with I got busy season going on with work. I'm going to be working a ton of hours. Like I don't need to add hangovers into the mix of that. Like I'm going to be stressed out. The body's going to be depleted enough. So we'll try and take care of the body one time as an adult.
Proud
See
of
what happens.
Shock the body. Shock the body.
Fontaine, I thought about you. I had a couple glasses of wine on Saturday night. Not too many, but a couple heavy pours. And I woke up Sunday. I was like, I think I'd be feeling a little bit better if I was Mr. Fontaine. I hadn't had that wine. Was doing dry January, but not quite at that sort of mental fortitude, stability at the moment. So I'm drinking again tonight. I got a little tequila soda action. Had about an ounce and a half left of tequila in a bottle. So just put that in there, a little polar lime seltzer, and keep it nice and clean. I got a little bit more work to do later tonight, so I figured, get the upper going instead of the downer that is bourbon. So tequila soda was the choice today. But Joseph,
Yes, sir.
You missed last week, and we talked
did.
a little bit about the off season. Whether it's baseball, there's spring training for golf. What are you working? I know you're kind of, you're in Florida, so there really is no off season for you.
Mm-hmm.
But kind of as you're prepping to play some more competitive golf, and to do those types of things, what are the things that you like to work on in your off season to ensure that your game's at tip top shape when it comes time to perform?
Yeah. I've yet to find that tip top shape of my golf game as I've talked about before. But I would say right now my golf game, I feel like it's just plateaued. I've just been at this same level for, I don't know, I feel like 2-3 years now. So I would say my off season down here, I'm just trying to do something different, right? When I left up north, I was telling him this same thing. And he's like, well, you need to change something because you're doing the same, you're going insane, doing the same thing over and over, and nothing's changing. So you need to kind of change up your routine, whatever it may be. So, I mean, typically me, I go out and I play 9 holes, whatever it may be after work, whether it's keep score or hit a few balls. But, my goal for this winter now is, instead of going out and playing 9, just go by the chipping green, go by the putting green and get the reps in there, because I don't do that nearly as often as I really should. So, and that's where I'm losing a lot more strokes. But other than that, I mean, it's just practice on the range as well, and putting the reps in rather than just going out and trying to play, shoot for a score. Because at the end of the day, right now, it's, my swing's there. It's just the consistency and it's those silly mistakes. So, that's probably my biggest challenge, is eliminating those from my golf game. So, I mean, that's what I would say I focus on, my goal to focus on for this winter. Seeing I missed out on last week's episode, I'm curious to know what your guys' off-season plans are. I mean, I know Mr. Fontaine was down at the range grinding just the other day, but I don't know, Michael, if you've been doing any of that quite yet, or I know you've been working out, but what have you been doing as far as your golf game to kind of help out as well?
Yeah, I think we touched on it quite a bit last week. Just really kind of just prepping the body for playing some more competitive golf this summer. And Fontaine's doing the dry January, so his body's kind of in a place where he's going to be successful, or at least has the opportunity to be successful. So I think we're kind of both aligned in that standpoint of doing what we can when the weather's not great, just to kind of put us in a place where we possibly can be successful and make sure we're doing all that we can do. But Mr. Fontaine, how is that dry January going?
It's going. I mean, I definitely feel better. Like, I don't know, like this weekend, I got up at like, 8:39, whatever, on Saturday and Sunday, and I was able to just get up and like just do stuff. Like, I don't know, like Saturday I woke up, went and got a haircut with the chiropractor, all these different things, buzzing around, and then like get back and still have like half the day to do something. I went and hit balls, and like Sunday woke up, went and hit balls again with Prev and TJ and some of our buddies, that we've had on here before. But it's nice. I don't know. Body feels pretty good. It's just I get bored. I don't know. Like there's nothing to do on weekends if you're not like, or even like tonight, like I started watching the Tiger documentary, which we'll get into in a little bit. But man, do I want like a cocktail while I'm watching that? Like it's just so intense, and like it's getting me all fired up, showing his highlights from USAMs and whatever else. Not just like, man, I want a cocktail, but it's good. The body will definitely be thanking me, and
it's for the better. You can do it. Mentally strong. That's all.
Exactly.
All it takes.
Give the body a break. It's had a good 5 years that it's gone without a real full
take a month
like
off.
this. So it's long overdue to give it like a month off and let the liver recover and whatever else. So
understandably so.
So far so good, but I'm definitely going to be bored unless there's like a lot of golf on in the next couple of weeks, which it's always prime time, so it kind of helps. But definitely getting bored if anything. But whatever.
Yeah.
So take it as a win.
Understandably so, but those spring cocktails on the golf course are gonna taste that much sweeter when you know that you've been working on it in January and abstaining a little bit from that alcohol.
Yeah, for sure.
But other than that, there's a couple hot topics in golf in 2021 thus far. We talked a lot last week about some club changes and other interesting things going on, but something that just popped up actually this week was Jordan Spieth and Butch Harmon are possibly getting together. I didn't see the article, but I know we've been chatting a little bit about it. Fontaine, do you know a little bit more about that?
Yeah, so I think what happened is Jordan's trying to work on something, and McCormick
Cameron McCormick.
Yeah, Cameron McCormick like wasn't able to get there. I think he was out in Vegas. Jordan was trying to work on something, and Cameron McCormick couldn't get there or whatever, so Butch kind of filled in. I don't think it's like a formal like switch. I think it was kind of like, hey, like I'm here, I'm trying to work on stuff, and Cameron McCormick couldn't make it for other priorities. I know he's got like a golf channel show he does now and stuff like that, so I don't know if that was getting in the way. But basically Butch was around, and Butch like went and helped him out. But I personally think that a switch would be good for Jordan because I mean, based on the dominance he had for 2 years, probably it was maybe a 2-year window. I know 2015 was the peak year with all the majors and whatnot, but he still hung around after that for a year or so before it got to the point where it's at now.
It's been since number 12 at Augusta. Ever since that, he just
was that
it's absolutely nuts. But
16 or 17 that one was? I don't know, but
2017.
Yeah, so
I mean, he had that. I think it was 2018 when Patrick Reed won. Yeah, didn't he have like a charge on Sunday? He almost came all the way back and won.
Yep.
But
he did. He came back. He like backdoored to top 5. He shot like 6 on Sunday or something like that.
And it was fantastic. You're like, oh, this is the Jordan we know, and it's fun to watch him when he's playing Jordan Spieth golf.
And I think that like that in a nutshell really shows why he just needs it's clearly mental for him, right? I mean, I think we're all on the same page there. Like his golf swing's never been like he's never been the best ball striker in the world, but like he's always been able to do it well enough where his putting and his short game like prowess can stand out and like really separate himself, which is why he won all those majors. He putted the lights out of the ball for 3 years, and now he's clearly just in a funk. Like he's putting so much pressure and over analyzing everything. I know this is what everybody says on Golf Channel too. Like we're not trying to like just reiterate what they say, but I think he just needs a switch. He just needs something to change. I mean, all the best players in the world have switched caddies or coaches at one point or another. it's like, it's not personal. You know, you worked with the guy for the last 15 years or whatever
He's
it's been since he was
he's
really
been
young.
McKinnon
But
McCormick forever.
right. So it's like you're just at a point where it's not working. Either the caddy's got to go, the swim coach got to go, whatever. It's like you just need a change of scenery, a change of environment to reset your mental and like refocus you, give you a different perspective, whatever it
Yeah.
is, because he's just stuck. He's stuck
I
in a
don't
rut and he can't change it unless he changes something. It's
I
kind of
don't
like your
want to
training,
say
though.
the
Like you got to
cat.
change something to expect a different
No, yeah.
outcome.
I don't want to say it's a caddy. I think him and Mikey work really well together.
Oh, for sure.
I do think a different swing coach will help, but and I mean, on a different note, like not to say I'm anything like Jordan Spieth, but it's similar to what I was just saying, right? Like something different needs to be done, and that, I mean, that's the point we're really hammering on with him. It's something different needs to be done. So, like I said, I think him and Mikey have a good, caddy relationship, and it's just a good story. And you know, that year when he won the Masters in 2015, I mean, I'll never forget. That was one of the best weekends of my life at college. We're watching him outside.
Yeah.
And it's when I really got into golf. So like Jordan has, I don't know, he's one of my favorite players, and to see him like this kind of, it sucks for me because he was really the first golfer besides Tiger, that I really loved, because I was relatable to him. And I'm just thinking, me just getting into the game, I'm like, that kid's literally my age.
Yeah.
He's making $20 million in like 1 year. It's ridiculous. So
yeah, that was some of the best stuff.
Get back.
That was like the best part of Jordan. He was like super relatable, like he made golf look super fun. It wasn't like a totally different world like some of these other guys are when they just tear places up. It's like, well, that's cool to watch, but like I can't do that. Where Jordan, like there were some aspects of his game that were almost relatable, and he just always found a way to, like, don't get me wrong, there's some parts that are just like a different stratosphere. He didn't win that much by accident, but there was just the element of it and the way it like looked for him. It just looked fun and like, I don't know. It was so fun to watch him play so well for that 2-year stretch, whatever it was, where he didn't hit perfect golf shots all the time. Like you see a DJ or, Tiger in his prime, where it's just like almost like automatic, the way they just hit the ball and like was a different world. He kind of hit it all over the place, but he just always found a way to get it in the hole. Whether it was like that long bomb he made at the British Open when he was like, the wheels are falling off and he's hitting it into different neighborhoods, it looks like, where he's like behind grandstands hitting hybrids back into play, like all this nonsense. Then he drains a 70-footer on the, like he just found a way to get in the hole, and it was incredible to watch and like super fun. So I think, like you said, just to really get the point home, like he just needs to change something just to get him a new perspective.
Putter in timeout, man. His putter hasn't been hot in a while. Put it in timeout. Sometimes it needs it.
Roll something different just to look down at something new for once. Like
I've go back to the old one. I'm telling you, he'll roll it better than he ever has.
Sometimes you got to put it in timeout, piss it off a little bit, let it remind itself it needs to perform in order to be here. You put it in timeout.
That putter who's daddy,
Exactly.
Put him away. Don't let him tell you who's daddy. You're daddy.
Exactly.
What you got to do.
Joseph, the problem with that is, and one time in college, I put away the putter that I use for every college, pretty much every other college tournament in my career. And I hit the ball better than I ever had in my entire life.
Yeah.
I shot the grossest even par in history. Like I could have shot like a 66 that day, and I think I had 5 3-putts. And then I was like, well, fuck, I'm using a putter that I've practiced for about 20 minutes with in my entire life. So there's that piece of it too.
He got to lose at this point, though. He's what? What did I just see? He's 108th ranked player right now. What is he got to lose at this point?
Yeah,
either that or he just goes on a bender. Like just take a month off.
I'm not saying put it in timeout forever, but you can one day, one tournament, something different. I don't know.
Yeah. Or just take a month off and stop playing golf.
Yeah, he needs to go. He needs to send Thomas Red a DM and see if he can get a case of that new tequila that he just dropped, and just let him just finish the case. And then when you come back, you're going to be in a good spot. That would be my my take on the situation. So go drink some tequila and, move on with your life, Jordan.
Agreed.
But Mr. Fontaine, I think you're the only one that's really dove a little bit into the Tiger documentary. And I think we're going to chat about it a little bit later on a later pod, but give us just a quick little synopsis. I know it's about a book, and haven't heard a whole lot of great things from the media talking about it. And kind of from both sides, from both people that love Tiger and people that aren't, his biggest fans. Just give us like a quick little synopsis if possible.
Yeah, so for those who maybe aren't aware of it yet, I mean, there's been a couple commercials that have been leaked in the last few weeks. I think honestly they started leaking them around the time of Augusta. I feel like of like the trailers, or if you will, of what it's gonna be, and it's it really puts the book that came out a few years ago, I think it's just called Tiger Woods, that was written by like Armin Catan or whoever that was. Really good book if you haven't read it, highly recommend. But it's basically putting that book into picture. They're doing like a 2-part doc series. Like last Sunday was the first episode, and the upcoming Sunday they'll close it out with the second half. And like Mikey said, a lot of the comments like, "Oh, it's just Tiger slander, blah blah blah, whatever." And I've watched like the first half of the first episode, and so far I don't feel that. I think they're getting there. They're right now. He just got to Stanford and whatever, based on like the timeline of this documentary. He just finished his third USAM in a row. But it's really more of, I think, humanizing Tiger. They definitely get into a lot of his faults, his mistakes, and like that kind of dark place he was at with the back surgeries, the kind of subsequent drug addiction that came from it with the painkillers and the DUI and all that stuff. It's going to get into that, and that's going to be hairy, obviously. Like nobody'd like to see that. And also the scandal with his wife and all that stuff that I'm sure he's not proud of, but they shed light on it. But I think they build it in a way that they really show his upbringing and kind of the impact his dad had on him, and how all that stuff, like he didn't have a chance to be a normal person.
Yeah.
Like and I guess spoiler alert if you haven't watched the doc yet or read the book, but Tiger's first real girlfriend he had, like they're showing home videos she has with him, and like he looks like a different person. He's like laughing and giggling. This is in the midst of his USAM, so the golf game's there now. He just hasn't been a pro and exposed to the media and all that nonsense yet. And he's like having the blast with his girlfriend, and along the way he brings her to when he starts making his first couple appearances in like the LA Open and stuff like that. And like along the way his dad and his mom like intervene and like tell the girl like basically just get out of here, like leave him alone. Like because she's suspected of like signing autographs because she's his girlfriend or whatever. And like Tiger's dad and whatever, like his mom like just freak out and basically like kick her out and tell Tiger that she left him. Like all this kind of really manipulative stuff that really just it made Tiger be more of a machine and a robot, like you see him, or at least like he was in like the early 2000s when he had the reputation of being like kind of a dick and like didn't talk to people, wasn't very social, all that stuff. But like the way they do this doc and the way that, at least if they stay in line with the book, which they have been so far of how I've watched, I haven't finished the first part yet, but if they stay in line with the way the book went, it just builds a story. And not that they're making an excuse for him, but I think it sheds a lot of light onto how he got there to those bad decisions he made and those things that he did that like he's not proud of, whatever. Again, he's my favorite golfer for all time. I can separate the two, I think, a little bit for the way of kind of where I kind of have my praise for him, but it just builds the picture, I think. And I'm sure he doesn't like that because it makes his dad look pretty bad. But I think that's just kind of more of the reality of the situation. His dad really made him a golf robot and not a human or a person, like took all of the emotion and everything out of his life and basically just made him run headfirst into golf and trust nobody, like all this kind of shit. Like didn't let him be a normal man. Like it's just crazy. But I guess that was a little bit of a rambling for a quick review of the doc, but I highly recommend watching it. If like, I think it brings non-golf into it a lot more. Like they show his golf, but they don't go crazy on the golf. They really go into him as a person. So I think it pulls in a bigger audience that's not just here to watch Tiger Woods golf highlights. And I think it does a good job of portraying how he got to those like dark parts in his life. And like, I feel like he was destined for him at one way or another. And it makes it honestly more incredible the comeback he's had to be where he is right now in 2021 from where he was in like 2015 or whenever that DUI was. Like for him to get out of that hole is pretty impressive, I think. And it just speaks more to like how incredible 2018 and 19 seasons were for him to get all the way like full circle, loop around on it, and to still have a relationship with his kids after all the shit that went down. It's pretty wild. So I think it does a good job of shedding light on like how he got brought up and how it was almost inevitable for him to be involved in like shit like that he got into.
Yeah, I'm gonna have to watch it. I was gonna try to veto it, but I don't know. I feel like I could learn a thing or two, and we'll see.
Yeah,
we'll see.
I think
I got to see if I got an HBO subscription. I don't even know if I got that. So.
The points that people make about it being slander, I get that. They show a lot of shit that I'm sure Tiger's pissed about. So all of his camps, like, fuck this thing. Like, you guys weren't supposed to say that, or you shouldn't have exposed this or that. But I don't know.
It's a matter of time until we get Tiger's side of it. I mean, it's like when he announced his book back. He didn't give us a date when it's coming out, but he just said there's going to be a book that I'm writing, and it's going to be fantastic.
Yeah,
I can't wait for that book to come out. That's a book I'll actually read.
Yeah, I would love to hear what he has to say about, especially now that these things are coming out.
Yeah,
with him. Like, I'd love to see his perspective and see if it lines up. I guess, right? I mean,
give me The Last Dance, but Tiger Woods style.
Yeah. Oh yeah. Now we're talking. Give me 14 episodes.
Okay. Or one for every major.
Now we're talking.
No, I think that's a great idea. I think that would be super interesting, and it's odd. I think the Bogey Proof staff aren't big readers by any means, but when Tiger Woods is involved, we're here to read and we're here to listen.
I'm a scholar when it comes to Tiger Woods.
Yeah, a scholar. A scholar of Tiger Woods history. I would put you in that category.
Yep.
Yeah, I'll give you that.
But outside of that, we just want to do a quick plug for our other platforms as we create more of a curated experience across all kind of different platforms. We can be found on Instagram at bogeyproof.gram, Twitter, bogeyproof.tweets, at our YouTube channel, bogeyproof, and on our website, bogeyproofblog.com. So go check out all those different sites. We're providing a little bit different experience on each of those. So really, I think kind of bringing them all together and taking in a little bit of piece of each of them while you listen to these podcasts, which can be found on Spotify, Amazon, or I think we're on our iHeart Music now too. I saw that come through on an email, so we're gonna have to check with Eric on that one when he's back. But also on Apple Music as well. And besides kind of those, the different platforms we're on, just remember, subscribe to the Bogey Proof Picks. I know each Wednesday we're going to come out with a little Instagram post with our specific picks, but if you want to get a little ahead of that and get that on the first Monday of each month and get a preview of those tournaments, we would say go on to our website at bogeyproofblog.com and put your name down there and your email, and you will get that sent to your email on the first Monday of every month. Everybody that has received thus far has been really enjoying it and really like what we're putting out. So sign up for that. On to next week on the PGA Tour, we have the Sony Open at Waialae Country Club. Pretty historic site. It's one of those places that's been around for a long time, and like Kapalua, where we played last week, really hasn't been around for too much. I think it was only built in like the 90s. Waialae's a different story. It's a shorter golf course with a lot of history, a lot of low scores. I am really excited about the cocktail from the Bogey Proof picks this week. I almost poured myself one. So be on the lookout for that in our Instagram post. But also, if you would have subscribed, you would have had, all the goodies to make our cocktail, which I'm really excited about. But Mr. Fontaine, give me a little insight on the Sony Open for those of you that kind of don't know too much. We know it's got low scores, and of course that plays really only about 7,000 yards. But is there anything else intriguing about Waialae Country Club or kind of the field in general?
Yeah. So like you said, low scores. It's much shorter. I think Kapalua last week was like 7,600, 7,700. Granted, there's like the elevation changes there are pretty crazy. And this one kind of goes on the opposite side of the spectrum where it's like just barely 7,000, which for PGA Tour purposes in the current day is pretty short. And you can kind of tell that by like the past winners. You got like Cam Smith last year. He's not the longest guy in the world. Obviously, a really solid player, had a good Masters this year. But he beat Brendan Steele in a playoff last year. And, this course has like the patented, like the trees that make the W. I think it's on like 16 or 15. One of those par threes on the back. They got the W in the back, which always looks pretty cool when they're showing the coverage and stuff like that. And it's another island course. So it's another.
Is it on the same island of Hawaii? Like
a different one, I think.
Different?
Yeah.
No, I'm not even going to try to pronounce the different islands of Hawaii, but this one starts with an O. So it's not on Maui. I can tell you that. We were in Maui last week.
Yeah.
We have left Maui. We have taken a boat, and now we've hopped over to this other island. So we're somewhere else now.
It'll be a tough trip when I finally go to Hawaii to play all these courses.
Yeah. But yeah, I guess just to wrap it up, like past winners, like I think this is where JT shot his 59 and won by a lot one year. Spieth's won here before. I feel like somebody else shot a 59 here in recent years or came close. Might have been Spieth in one of the years he won, but a lot of usually good players. Like I said, a lot of low scores. If that wind calms down, it's very gettable. But it's going to be another fun course and another really pretty place to watch on TV with a lot of good views and nice backdrops and all that fun stuff that you get with the kind of destination golf courses they play. Or
was it here Kapalua where DJ almost had a hole-in-one on that par 4?
Yeah.
Kapalua.
Here, right?
Yep.
Last week.
Kapalua last week.
Yeah, okay. Yeah, I get them.
Yeah, I'm not sure that there's really any drivable par 4s out here. There's only 2 par 5s, and they're really short. So for those of you watching the coverage this weekend, keep an eye out for the 9th and the 18th hole. Tons of birdies, tons of eagles, really. 9th hole plays like 490, which is outside of the first hole at Riviera Country Club. Really probably the only 2 par 5s on the PGA Tour that possibly play under 500 throughout the year. So definitely some fireworks to end both 9s, and a 2-shot lead is not safe going into 18. There's bogeys to be had, but 2 good shots is going to reward you with an opportunity to make an eagle on 18 and really make some waves. I know we're in Hawaii, so waves, not bad pun, but
I respect it.
Yeah. So it's not the rainy season in Hawaii when the swells are really where they're highest. So we'll stay away from the waves right now. But Joseph.
Yes, sir.
Who are your picks for the Sony Open?
I'm sticking with my boy Sungjae for this tournament. He came in close, tied 5th. I think 21 under. I like the guy. I really do. The kid's a machine. I'm riding the Sungjae train for this Hawaii trip, so I'm taking him again this week.
Yeah, word on the street is he hasn't stopped hitting balls since Sunday afternoon last week.
No.
So
I don't think he's slept yet.
Yeah, no, he did not sleep. He took a quick power nap on the ferry over to this new island. His mom, who's traveling with him, made him breakfast, and he went right to it.
Absolutely.
So, like we've said before, Sungjae, absolute hitter, but lives a unique life. Traveling the road. I think he finally bought someplace in Atlanta, actually, which I'm excited for Sungjae. I think he's deserved it. He's played well enough, so. Definitely excited for him to have a home base here in the U.S. and maybe take a week off. Who knows?
Maybe.
Probably not this year, but
maybe when you right.
On a different note, he's not playing this week, but I'll just wait for my boy Kiradek Appy Barnrat to make a charge because he's coming soon.
Oh boy.
You heard it here first.
Oh boy.
He's on the vape weight loss program.
Absolutely. Big vapor. Love that guy.
A lot of similarities to your game, Joseph. Right? on and off the course. Mr. Fontaine, if maybe you'll pick Sungjae M and maybe Kiradek Appy Barnrat's a late alternate, but besides those 2 guys, who are your picks this week?
It's with the 7,000 yards just opens me up for a lot of different people. I think I'm gonna go. Webb Simpson always plays well here. Webb pisses me off because I never pick him right. When I pick him, he T30, and I pick against him, and he ends up beating the guy I picked. Like, it drives me nuts. I can never get him right or pick his week, I guess, is really what it comes down to. But I'm gonna go with him this week. He's played here. I think he plays here every year, and he's got a pretty good track record with it. He was in the mix last year. He did like an eagle on the last to get in the playoff because both those guys ended up birdieing, but was definitely in the mix come Sunday, and I think he'll do well. He's such a solid player. Kind of drives me nuts the way he plays the game, but it works. I don't. Who am I to say? He makes millions of dollars a year, so can't really argue what he's doing compared to what I got going on. So I'll go with Webb this week. And then if I was gonna like honorable mention or like pick a guy for top 5, Brendan Todd. Guy loves like the vacation courses or tournaments, whatever it is, resort destinations. He always plays really good in these. It seems like I feel like he might have won one of this one or something like that in the past years or something out in Hawaii, I feel like. But I feel like he'll be in the mix. He's been playing pretty well to end 2020. He's kind of been all up and around top 15s, top 20s, playing pretty solid golf. So I wouldn't be surprised if he has a good week this week too. So those are my 2 guys to kind of keep an eye out this week with the shorter course.
Yeah, I like both those picks. I think someone we haven't mentioned yet, who's got to be the betting favorite. I haven't had an opportunity to look at the lines yet, but Colin Morikawa. I got to think he's the betting favorite this week. He's got some pretty strong ties to the islands of Hawaii. I'm sure he's going to have some family in the area that are there watching. I'm not sure. Are they allowing fans? Or they have limited number of fans?
I haven't heard or not.
I think it's limited. Like there's some people out there, but certainly nowhere near full capacity.
Yeah, but yeah, I would look for him to be there. God, could that guy hit irons? Like that was my take. I didn't watch a ton of golf this week. It was a big weekend of football, with the 2 days of the NFL and then Monday night with the NCAA championship. I can put my hand up and say I did not watch all of the golf this week. I watched some, but not all of it. And
too depressed on Sunday.
when I when I saw some highlights and stuff, that was kind of the one thing that stood out to me, was that his iron game is just next level. Like that guy just carves cuts at the pin all day long. It's fun to watch.
Gorgeous. Literally, it's unbelievable to watch him hit iron shots. It's like it's like Tiger-esque. Like it's like Tiger at Belle Reve is like my favorite Sunday of golf to watch, when he just hit 5 to 10 yard cuts at every single pin, and that place was so soft it was like craters and sticking. That's like watching Colin Morikawa when he's playing well. That's what his irons feel like to me. Yeah. He just stripes them. Doesn't look like he's doing anything crazy. It just looks like such a standard swing. And then every time they get a tracer on it, it's this nice soft cut, and it just like, his iron game has got to be top 3 on tour right now. Like it's unbelievable. I love watching him play golf. I think him out of that like young group, he's got the most longevity and is going to win the most majors by far, just due to the consistency in which he plays and how well-rounded his golf game is. Like he doesn't bomb it like Wolf, or even Hovland hits it pretty good. Like he just seems to have such a more well-rounded game, and his irons are just so spectacular that he doesn't have to have a great week on the greens, and he seems to be in the mix. Because I did watch last week's a little bit more, especially, dry January, didn't have much else to do. Friday or Saturday, whatever day that he shot like 7 or 8 under, Morikawa, he like 3-jacked on like the 6th hole and like missed like 2 shorties in a row, like to end his front 9, and then made 6 birdies on the back. It's like he can putt like shit and still shoot 7 under. It's just, I think he just hits it so well.
Yeah, his
so
putting
it's awesome.
Fantastic.
Yeah.
But. Yeah, he's interesting to watch too, because he hits that cut. Like sometimes it looks like it's a little bit of a glancing blow, but then you hear like the audio on it, and it is crisp. So it's fun to watch, and I really like watching him play. If I wasn't just going straight chalk, another player I think will play well this week is Hudson Swafford. Had some success earlier this year, and also has had a ton of success here at Wiley Country Club. One of my favorite follows on Twitter is Justin Ray. He's a stat guy used to be for the Golf Channel. I think he's doing his own thing now, but Give him a follow on Twitter if you like kind of golf stats, and he will blow your mind with some of the stuff that he puts out there. And Hudson Swafford was up there on like the last 5 or 8 years or whatever the case may be, very high up on the total list as far as like how many under par he was. Webb Simpson was also up on that list. So strong picks on that as well. But I think we'd
talk about Andres Gonzalez and how mean that handlebar mustache is.
I was just gonna say we'd be absolutely remiss not to talk about how ridiculous this field is. Like you can say Andres Gonzalez, like he definitely doesn't have a tour card. He's been playing in the Web.com for a while. I actually remember he played in like a Travelers Pro-Am up at Great Horse one year. And I heard he's just a wild character. But
I love
besides him, we got Y.E. Yang in the field this week. So shout out to Y.E. Yang, 2009 or 2011 when he beat Tiger at Hazeltine.
2009, I think.
Yeah, so maybe he's gonna grab his bag and put it over his head like he did that week if he makes the cut this week, because it would be a very similar accomplishment at his age.
I'll flat why I'll have a problem with that.
And then also other people in the field. We got Mike Weir in the field. Guy is terrible. He is taking a spot away from someone who has a legitimate chance, to make a cut this week.
Oh, I didn't even see Kids was playing. I scrolled right by him.
I think they probably just gave Weir like a spot because he's the President's Cup here. He's the President's Cup here, and when they play in Montreal, I think.
Yeah.
So just giving him a little bit of little bit of publicity there, and then a couple other characters in the field. We got Hunter Mahan, lost his golf game quite a while ago, but hopefully he can play well. I mean, he's still got a good golf swing. Occasionally shanks it, but
he had like a Spieth-esque fall. Like he was on Ryder Cups, President's Cups, and then nowhere, like real fast, like fell out of the clouds. But yeah, Field's like Mikey said, like Field is wild. I mean, it seems like there's like some Champions Tour guys in here. You got Jerry Kelly, like D Love the Third's in here, like just like is that KJ Choi in here?
Oh yeah, KJ Choi's playing.
What like what?
Give me coverage of these guys.
VJ, like I mean, we are all over the place. There's so many players when you go on like the PGA Tour site that don't even have a picture. That's how rogue this field is this week.
Yeah, Joseph, I'm gonna draft up an email to I got to see. Hopefully, when they put out the tee times, I'm gonna look at the most ridiculous grouping and see if we can get them on PGA Tour Live.
Yeah.
Like if they're doing PGA Tour Live this week, sometimes they don't always do it early in the year, but would love to see.
This tournament might be.
Yeah, would love to see a PGA Tour Live grouping of just absolutely ridiculous human beings out there. So that would be a lot of fun. But Joseph, kind of a question for you moving forward now that we've left the Sony Open and we're looking forward to that, and we'll recap next week on what happens with that tournament. But what are you looking forward to in 2021 for both for the podcast and just kind of general related content to what we're trying to put out, or maybe even speak to kind of your individual goals and how you're kind of adding to this podcast?
Yeah, no, I mean, I would say most importantly for us as a foursome, as Bogey Proof, we've talked about it before, but I think it'd be good for me and my career in the future itself, but for all of our people who do listen to us, if they're struggling with anything with their swings or want some tips, slide into the old DMs and let us know what you're working on. If you want to send a video, send it my way, and I'd be happy to help. I'm not guaranteeing great tips, but I think I could truly help you guys with whatever it may be. But if my one request is, if you do seek for help, just maybe give me a video of some sort if it's full swing, because it's tough to analyze somebody who's just asking what they're doing wrong and not being able to fully see it, because there's so many different things that as you guys know, that go into a golf swing, and the ball can be curving right for a number of different reasons. So I want to be able to try to see what they're doing in particular. So, I think that'd be the coolest thing for us to do, get a little bit more engaged with everyone. Not going to be roasting anyone's swings because we have our own swings to roast as is. But I mean, as far as content, I think we should just continue to try to be involved with everyone as much as we really can. I think it'd be a good way to, not necessarily, it's not a relationship because you might not know everyone, but it'd be a good way to kind of feel like you have that relationship with your listeners and everything like that. So I think that would be my biggest idea of what I would like to do for, this brand going forward, at least. I don't know if, what else you guys really had in mind or anything like that, but I think as far as our timing, we get our content out every week, and I think that's great. We have our schedule that we try to, go by every week. It's just persistence, staying on top of everything, and I think we do that well. But there's always things we can improve on. So I'd like to see what you guys want to try to do for us as well going forward.
Yeah, Joseph, I think you're right on key with that. I think we're looking forward to you helping out us and also our listeners. I think we had a fun little interaction earlier at the end of the weekend a few days ago with Matt having gone to the range and was struggling a little bit on thing. And, we threw it in our group chat and we talked about it. And I think within 30 minutes or so, he had a thought about what he should be doing and maybe a couple of drills that he needs to be working on. So like you're saying, we're not going to guarantee that you send your video in and we're going to have this laundry list of things that you're going to work on. And if you do them, you're going to be a great player.
Mm-hmm.
But we're going to do our best to provide, a couple setup things to work on, one or two things to work on in your swing. And, I think also with something that I'm doing with, working with the TPI instructor on my fitness as well, like, I think we're going to be able to layer in some things as to, hey, like if your issue here is that, you roll onto your right side and don't finish your backswing or something like that. And, a real reason why you do that is because you don't have a lot of, glute strength in your right ass muscle. Like, let's give you an exercise or two to work on that and a drill to work on that. And then we're not just going to say, hey, do this and move on. Like, we're going to give you kind of the steps to be successful.
We want to actually help them, right? We want to benefit everybody as best that we truly can. And like I said, it's only going to help me because it's not even me. You guys have just as much as knowledge as I do. I mean, even though I'm in that business, you guys have been playing longer than I have, and you're both better players than I am. So, what you're talking about as well. So we have enough resources within the four of us to really help anyone who needs help, whatever it is, that they're seeking for. So, maybe something that I see, you might see a little bit differently. And, we talk about it and we let them know what we think would be best for them at the end of the day. So it's, I think, definitely a benefit from all four of us being a part of this.
Yeah, we're looking forward to that, I think. Mr. Fontaine, what are you kind of looking forward to for 2021 goals? And what's on the horizon?
Yeah, so, just to kind of echo what Joey said, I mean, make sure you follow us, Twitter, Instagram, just straight up tag us in your videos, Instagram story, whatever it is, tag us, get us in there, and then we'll get back to you with some feedback. But I think, some other things we're really trying to work on 2021 is really just nail down consistency of the episodes, right? We're going to try, tentative schedule here. We're still working out, the details behind the scenes, but we're going to try and do something consistently for you guys every Thursday morning, Wednesday night, depending on when the golf tournament starts the next day, to kind of preview each event. And then we're going to try to make a consistency of having about once or twice a month do like a Friends of the Program episode to kind of, in addition to the one we're going to do on Wednesdays and Thursdays, just to kind of provide some more content and do some less structured stuff, less current events, and more just kind of pick a topic, do a deep dive with some buddies, and kind of have like a fun banter with that in kind of addition. And then, whether it's adding, more blogs or more, whatever content it is, whether it's more actual golf content of us playing golf or swinging, practicing, tips, drills, whatever, maybe if we get a lot of these swings and we're giving kind of consistent feedback and there's like one specific drill we keep referring to, quick live demo of it. I don't know, throw it up on the YouTube, whatever it is, stuff like that. So just a lot of different content in a lot of different ways and, kind of be more consistent with, the podcast. That's kind of our main content that we're putting out right now, and just make that consistent and add to it the best we can, for our listeners, and give them something to look forward to every week to kind of preview each week's golf tournament.
Absolutely.
Yeah, and I think we're going to be in even better situation too. Joseph is in Florida, but I'm going to be spending 3 months in warm weather here between March and May as well. So going to have some opportunity for some more live content, and just like Matt's saying, right? Like if there's something that is consistently a drill that we're working on, like I'm going to hook up the tripod on the range and I'm going to take a couple videos and, help you guys out, or, do something relatively kind of interactive. I think that'll be a lot of fun. And that's kind of what we've been getting as far as questions and kind of comments from our listeners thus far. But I would just say consistently, like, send us direct messages, call us, text us if you know us really well, like, and tell us what you want to hear about. Like, we're flexible, and I think we echoed this kind of last week too, but like we're only as strong, and our topics are only as interesting as you guys provide them to us. Like, we can think something super interesting and dive into it and fucking talk Tiger Woods, like, this movie or, the documentary and all that great stuff. But like, if that's not what you guys want to hear, like, we're happy to pivot. I don't think Fontaine's really happy about this. We'll stay away from limiting.
I'll do a deep dive for my Tiger fanatics out there. All right, we'll make a separate one off the grid.
Yeah, it'll be like a cult following Twitter, a cult following Twitter thread for those right there. But yeah, I agree. Looking forward to all those things in 2021. Welcome back to Bogey Proof. We've made a call to the bullpen. Joey had to scoot, so Eric's here to save the day. So we got Eric, Mike, and Matt here. Eric, we just did our picks for the Sony Open. Who do you like this week?
For the Sony, I'm going with our man Webb Simpson. He didn't have his best stuff in the Tournament of Champions last week, but shorter golf course. I think he'll have to hit less drivers. I think he lost something crazy like 6.5 strokes to the field off the tee last week. But I think the golf course sets up for him well. It's a shot maker's golf course, and he still putted it really well last week. So going with our guy Webb. I know, Matt, you said earlier, it's shocking. He's 8th in the world right now. So I think he's a little sneaky.
Sneaky, for sure. Brutal golf swing to watch. I don't understand how he does it, but he knows how to putt, which is really the equalizer, I guess. And I don't know, he finds a way to do it. It doesn't look pretty, but the results are pretty damn good. So can't talk too much shit.
Gets the ball in the hole. That's all that matters. And then with second pick, I'm gonna ride Harris English's hot streak. I think he's obviously probably had a pretty good few days celebrating in Hawaii. I think he's gonna come in this week feeling good. I like him to have another strong week this week. So I'm gonna throw Harris English in there too, maybe a top 20.
Eric, I forgot to ask, and you bringing up Harris English wins last week made me think. He's probably sipping on a couple cocktails. What do you have going tonight? What are you sipping on?
I have got a Manhattan. I made it with what did I make it with? Made it with Elijah Craig small batch bourbon. So a little cocktail. Kind of just hanging out and having a nice cocktail tonight.
Love it.
Yeah, Harris English probably is having a couple cocktails. The real question is, does he deserve to have them? Should he have even been playing in that tournament? I think there's been
all over this puppy. Huge asterisks. Tournament of Champions, and he hasn't won in 7 years. What goes on there? We need. Obviously, they extended the field due to COVID, but you got to rebrand a little bit if you're gonna change the whole field, because Harris English winning the Tournament of Champions after a 7-year drought doesn't feel right. I mean, he played damn well. Like, don't get me wrong, shot 25 under, and then birdied the first playoff hole to squeak out a victory. Like, the game's there, but asterisks on that one. I don't know if he deserved to be in the field.
Yeah, well,
Tournament
he
champion.
got him. Regardless, he got himself in the field already again for next year. So
Facts. If he repeats, I'll rescind my asterisks. He will
I
earn
like
it
that.
if he
I like
wins it next year.
dude, can we talk about the announcers when Harris English was playing 18, not in the playoffs for the first time? All the announcers could talk about was how Joaquin Neiman wasn't hitting balls.
Yeah, I know.
He was like having lunch with Sergio and then rolled a few putts. I don't know. I don't really think anything of it. I think he's a professional golfer. He just played 18 holes. I don't think he's going to forget how to swing the golf club in 15 minutes.
Yeah,
but I don't know. What are your thoughts on that?
And he knows if it goes to the playoff, it's going to be down 18 again. And it's not like that's a tight fairway where he's got to hit like some, like really thread a driver or hit a 3-iron or bend something, shape something, whatever. You can get up there and blast the driver out there and then hit like, a hook, 3-iron, hybrid, whatever he's got left, depending on which slope it hits. Obviously, they're trying to win and whatever, but he shot 8 or 9 under the last day to get there. Like he jumped up the leaderboard pretty good. He's probably feeling pretty good. He doesn't want to go whack balls after shooting 63.
Right.
Like I don't know. I agree. They really honed in on that for whatever reason, and I don't think, like you said, he's a professional golfer. He hit balls all week. He just shot 63. Probably feeling pretty good, and probably just need more focus on refueling and keeping the energy up for the playoff if it happens, versus really grinding on the range and trying to find something after you just shot 63. That's my take on it. I don't know.
I don't know. Go ahead, Mike.
I was just going to say, I agree. I think there's kind of two players. There's two types of players out there. It's kind of like the people that the only way that they can really focus is when they're like on the range and focusing on trying to hit the ball or some sort of key. And then there's other people that like, they need to just be in a relaxed state of mind. Like I think they talk about a lot with Brooks Koepka. Like he is not someone who shows up overly early to the golf course. He just shows up like 45 minutes and gets loose and kind of goes and doesn't clutter his mind. So, right. Joaquin Neiman sitting down, having lunch with one of his buddies, a questionable friend. If he was having lunch with Sergio Garcia, not someone you probably want to learn from, but I think just kind of not thinking about the golf course, not thinking about what's out there. Just, you can't do anything about Harris English out there on the golf course. Right. So like,
right.
Don't worry about it. Just, do your own thing. And if your name gets called, you step up. He's a pro golfer. Like we're saying, he's going to hit one. He's going to hit the fairway. The fairway's 150 yards wide. Like he's going to hit one. It's going to go almost 400 yards. And then it's going to hit the next one. So Eric, what was your kind of thoughts on that?
Oh yeah, the same thing. And Harris English too, he had 10 feet for eagle on that hole. He almost just won it straight up.
Yeah.
But yeah, I thought it was a little overblown, and I don't know. Like you said, he still went out there, hit a perfect drive, and obviously didn't win. But I don't know. I was a little turned my head a little bit how big of a deal they were making out of it.
Yeah, for sure. But definitely looking forward now that Century Tournament of Champions Week is done. Looking forward to Sony Open and Waialae Country Club. Should be a fun time. And something that Matt, Joey, and I spoke about, Eric, was our 2021 goals for the pod. We talked a lot about just the consistency of the content that we're putting out across all platforms. I think we're really excited to help out our listeners and help them with some instruction. And we really want people to get involved on all platforms and send us direct messages, send us videos of their swing. And we just want to go out there and help our listeners any way we can. Outside of those things, what are your goals for the 2021 year as far as the podcast and the blog and the YouTube and the Instagram and everything that is Bogey Proof? Yeah,
I think for me, it's kind of this travel series that we've talked about a little bit. I think it's going to be it's a great opportunity for us to spread kind of the Bogey Proof name beyond just like social media content, and more of an actual experience. And the idea really, it kind of came from us on some of the golf trips that we've been on together, and really figuring out what we're looking for when we're going on a golf trip together. And we came up with this idea to to bring that to other people and say, hey, you got a group of 8 people, you guys are going to go on a trip together, or just away for a weekend, and let us plan it all for you. Just kind of from the experience that we've had going on some of these trips all over the place, and whether it's 3 rounds of golf and a nice dinner and an Airbnb, figuring out kind of the scoring of the weekend, if you guys are playing matches and stuff like that, really just saying, hey, you've got a group that wants to go on a trip. Let us do all the nitty gritty work for you. You guys just sit back and relax. And but it's going to be more than that. I mean, there's a ton of companies out there that plan these trips for you. For us, it's really something that we want to do, at least to start with our friends, and not just plan it for them, but also be there with them the whole time. And it would be an opportunity to create some content for social media and stuff like that, or a YouTube video about the travel series, about the weekend that has been had. And we would be there kind of to pull the strings along the way behind the scenes with some of the tea time stuff and dinners and stuff that is a little annoying to plan at times. And but we've obviously had some experience doing so, and have enjoyed doing so. So that's kind of really what I think is a great opportunity for us for 2021, and something that I'm really excited about. I think it would be a lot of fun as well to get something like that started up. I think we've got a great idea, and there's definitely some opportunity for that to develop.
Yeah, for sure. I'm really excited about the travel series. I think there's so many different avenues we can go with it. But I agree completely that it's one of those opportunities where a group of people are going to come to us with, maybe they have like a pretty good idea of where they want to go and the courses they want to play, but they just don't know how to make it happen. Maybe they have no idea. Maybe it's like, hey, we want to go for a long weekend, and they give us this, 4 or 5 hour stretch of piece of land, says, hey, we need to do it in this area because logistically that makes the most sense. And we kind of build it from the ground up. But I think you kind of spoke to it. And I just want to echo the fact, like, we've all been on, these golf trips that we've really enjoyed. And I just want to show that enjoyment and that experience to other people. Like, I can't imagine other people not going on a buddy's trip or a golf trip in their lifetime, because I just think it's such a unique experience and such a great opportunity to spend time with people that you care about. And whether you're great golfers or just learning, like, we can find the right balance there. So I think it's exactly what you're saying. It's, hey, let's come and create an experience and use our experiences from previous trips that we've taken, but also kind of bring in these different pieces, right? Like, when we were going on golf trips in college, like, we weren't going to distilleries or breweries or wineries or things like that. But those are things that now we're really interested in. I know my friends are really interested in that aspect as well. So, we'll put together a nice dinner that's paired with wines from a local winery or something like that. Hopefully bring in someone from the winery and give us a little introduction on how things go and what pairs with what. Like, there's so many different opportunities and so many great experiences that can be had. So super excited and looking forward to being a part of this 2021 travel series. Hopefully I can be, the tour guide or so for a couple fun ones this year.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah. I think just to add to what we're saying here, I mean, the biggest thing is, every group of friends has that one guy that gets stuck being the planner, right? Like, I know it's not me in this group of friends. You guys tell me where to go and when to be there, and I show up. I'll drive or whatever, but you guys are always kind of behind the scenes, booking the tee times or orchestrating the weekend to actually do it or whatever it may be. And that burden always falls on one or maybe 2 people within the group of friends. We're basically trying to give that person a break one time and let us do it. Like, obviously, like we said, like, you guys, give us an idea of what you're looking for, whether it's a lot of golf or more casual golf and you want to do some good dinners or whatever it may be. We'll figure out that mix for the, specific group we're working with. But let's give that one person that's always kind of in charge behind the scenes, let's give them a week off or a weekend off and let them kind of really kick back and enjoy it. I mean, we'll take care of, like you said, like the Airbnb, back and forth from the golf course to Airbnb, because that can always get a little hairy if you're, on a buddy's trip and having a couple cocktails out there. We want to keep everybody safe. So, just little things like that I think always burden at least 1 or 2 people in the group that let's give them a break for once, or, just have it be one less thing to worry about when you're out there on the 16th hole and you've had a few cocktails and all of a sudden you're like, oh crap, wait, we got to get home in a couple holes. Like, how are we going to figure that out? Like stuff you just don't want to have to deal with, that I think, is something that we can provide. And like I said, we'll get a lot of really good content out of it. And obviously, we'll work with the group on, how much or how little they want us to film. But I think it'd be really cool to have a video or a highlight reel, just, recapping the match or the actual golf weekend itself, to look back on with your buddies and, talk a little shit about. And, if it's an annual trip or whatever, you get this, if you play really well and you beat your buddies one weekend, or you and your partner, kind of clean house, you get a whole year of not only the shit talking, you can just pull up the video every single time of the buddy you beat, hosling one out of bounds on 17 because the moment got too big or whatever it is. So I think there's just it's a really cool opportunity that I think we're workshopping here, and looking forward to really figuring out the real mechanics of it and getting it in play come 2021. Obviously, It's going to be weather dependent for a couple of our areas, but we'll figure it out with COVID and whatever else going on, the best way to go about it.
And I think something too that gets overlooked easily on trips is stuff that doesn't involve golf, like dinner and where you're staying and stuff like that. Stuff that we have found could sometimes is more important than the golf. So I think that's an important aspect of it too. It's not just a golf trip. You're spending most of your time really not on the golf course for the weekend. And what are you doing and where are you doing it in that time is an important aspect of it as well.
Yeah, no, it's those details, I think, that make trips exceptional, right? If you're a group of guys that like to sit around with a bottle of bourbon and play cards at the end of the night, like, we're going to make sure that you have an Airbnb that is going to facilitate that, right? And you're going to have a big table and a fire and all those things that you need to be successful and really have kind of the best experience. So those little details, I think it's almost impossible when you're doing it, when it's kind of like your part-time job, when you're just doing it on the end, you're searching different sites at midnight and trying to figure it out. So just kind of leaving it up to us and allowing us to curate that experience is what we're excited about. So I would just say we're looking forward to 2021, and there's a lot of great things coming from Bogey Proof, a lot of great content and exciting things on the way. So thanks for joining, boys. Talk to you soon.
Cheers.